Hello, everybody. Welcome back to day 3 of our weight loss and hormonal health series. If you guys are here, please say hello in the chat. I want to make sure that you can see me and you can hear me. That would be really important. And if you're watching this after the fact and you have any questions, or you're here live and you have any questions, then please ask away. Okay, so we are diving into weight loss. I posted a, Sunita. Hi, Sunita. Thanks for being here. Okay, so I posted, oh my God, what's it called? I gave some options in the group yesterday. Hi, Sarah, about what topic you wanted me to dive into today. I had lots of topic ideas that I wanted to chat with you guys about. You guys are always talking about like PMS and menopause and thyroid and hormonal issues and fertility and all kinds of stuff. Weight loss is a big one. And so yes, weight loss was at the top of the list. That was what you guys wanted to hear the most about. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. And I got a lot of stuff to say about weight loss. This could be a little all over the place. I wrote some notes here to kind of keep me on track and to go over with all of you. And like I said, if you have questions, just please ask. I'm going to give you a bit of a kick in the butt today when it comes to weight loss and your goals. I want you to know that it all comes from a place of love. And it comes from 15 years of coaching people, right? And seeing the self-sabotage that can happen and the dysfunction that's going on and really having to hold space for people. So I don't want you to ever take it in a bad way. I want you to know that any bit of hard ass that comes out of me is because I'm here to really help support you in your transformation. And sometimes it's what we need to hear, right? Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining. It's really sometimes what we need to hear. Sometimes we need somebody who's really going to speak that real truth to us. And oftentimes we're not hearing that from our friends and our family. So that's why I'm a coach. That's what I do for a living. I say the uncomfortable things sometimes to my clients because that's what they pay me for. Nobody else in their lives is telling them that. And that's what's actually going to help them to break through some of the blocks that they're having and to really have transformation in their life. Okay, so weight loss. There's so many things I can say here. What I want you to know is that what I'm going to share with you today isn't about this like one thing you can do that's going to help you to lose weight, or this one pill you can take, or this one shake. Like, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way, because you need to know that that does not exist. And if I were to say something like that, that would be completely unprofessional, but it would be so out of integrity for me. And weight loss, there is no like one size fits all approach, okay? It is a combination of multiple things that make up your weight loss success, okay? And this is why we run our group coaching program, because we coach you in there, we guide you in there, we answer your questions. This is why we also have one-on-one coaching for people who want to come on board and like really have that one-to-one support and do a little bit more of customization, or dive into testing and things like that. Okay, that's all within integrity. But for me to come on here and be like, you got to take this one thing and that's what's going to help you to lose weight, no, that's not the case. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. I want you, if you have been on this journey of like Googling all of these diets, buying diet pills and things like that, stop it right now. Okay, you just got to stop it right now, because and I know that that's not getting you anywhere. Am I right? Okay, so we just got to let that go. One of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of my clients in practice and even within our coaching groups, is things like, I just want to be in control of my food, and I feel like I'm out of control when it comes to food and making choices, or I just want to be in control when I'm in a social setting. Or one of the biggest things that I always hear is like, how do I stop nighttime snacking? Like, I can't help it. I get on the couch at night and all I want to do is eat potato chips, dive into the ice cream, eat the cookies, whatever it is. And it's this cycle every single night that I can't break, right? This is something I hear from so many people. And I want you to know too that like this was something that I went through on my own as well. Especially in my 20s, I and even in my early teens, like I started really diving into health and fitness and wellness when I was young, when I was about 16 years old. And I was eating what I thought was healthy, but it definitely was not healthy, right? As I now have learned, of course, right? I was eating like all the artificial sugars and sweeteners and low fat stuff and things like that. And that's just obviously, that's not healthy, right? It's like factory made food. It's not real whole foods. And even in my 20s, and in my early teens, I had quite the sugar addiction. Back then, I didn't realize it was a sugar addiction. But when I look back on all the PMS symptoms that I struggled with and the terrible periods that I would get and my digestion, it goes back to what I was eating. I was eating so much sugar. And I don't just mean like cookies and cakes and sweets and treats and things like that. I mean things like, filling my plate with so much carbohydrates. And so that's obviously changed over the years. And I fell into this trap of every night after dinner having to go get a snack, having to go get a treat, eating some ice cream, having cookies or whatever it was. We always had things like that in the house, right? My parents would buy Chips Ahoy cookies or whatever it was, and we'd always have something sweet in the house. And so I had that cycle, but also my mother had that cycle too, and my parents in general. At nighttime after dinner, it was like, well, what are we snacking on? What's the dessert? What are we eating, right? So this is one of the big questions that I get. Hi, Alicia. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so one of the big questions I get is, how do I stop nighttime snacking? And as we know, nighttime snacking is one of the biggest reasons why we gain weight, because we're eating so much sugar at nighttime, right? Now to be clear, like I said, it's one of the reasons. There are multiple things that we're doing, and there are also different things that are going on hormonally that are causing us to potentially put on weight. But a lot of our eating habits are impairing our weight loss success, okay? Are impairing our weight loss goals. And so snacking at night, here's what I want to say about that. So number one, willpower. It is bullshit. It does not exist, okay? I want you to think about willpower in the sense that, you basically wake up in the morning and you have 10 units of willpower for the day, okay? You got 10 units. So that means that when you wake up, you have, unit number one, right? That you've got to put to test. What are you going to eat for breakfast? Are you going to have the coffee and the donut, the coffee and the bagel, right? What's that going to be? Are you going through the drive-through through Tim Hortons or whatever coffee shop, and you're getting, something to eat there, right? Carbohydrates, sugar, coffee, all of that. Okay. So you wake up in the morning and you got to use willpower unit number one, and then you go to work and maybe whatever, shit hits the fan at work and you gotta hold back. You want to say something to your boss, you want to ream him out or something, and you gotta have willpower number two, right? Willpower unit two. So as you go through the day, you have all these different units of willpower, technically, that you have to use. And so by the end of the day, how do you think you're gonna feel? Exhausted, overwhelmed, irritable, anxious, maybe unappreciated. Unappreciated, is that the term? Not appreciated. You are going to feel maybe you're not seen or you're not heard in your life. You're going to feel all of these things at the end of the day. And how are you going to numb out and fix those feelings? You're going to go and eat the cookies. You're going to go eat the brownie. You're going to go open the tub of ice cream, right? So that's what's really happening here is obviously by the end of your day, you're going to be exhausted. You're going to have used up all those 10 units of willpower. So it's so easy to go grab that quick fix to give you those feelings of satiety, of happiness, right? It's like a quick high that you get from eating the sugar. And so here's what I really want you to do to help combat this nighttime snacking. And know that this is not a quick fix. You gotta work on this. This is something that you have to keep doing over and over and over. It's a practice. And so I want you to anticipate how you're going to feel, right? Like I just said, overwhelmed, anxious, irritable, underappreciated, fatigued and exhausted. You're going to feel these things. So I want you to anticipate. I want you to plan ahead. In the morning when you get up, I want you to say to yourself, okay, tonight, like most nights, I get home from work, I have dinner, I'm with my kids, I'm with my family, whatever it is, everyone goes to bed, and then I finally take the sigh of relief and I feel exhausted and I feel angry and irritable and so overwhelmed, and I just want to take the ice cream and sit on the couch and eat. Okay, so I want you to plan ahead and I want you to anticipate those feelings that are going to show up for you. Okay, so in place of going to grab the ice cream, the cookies, the brownie, the cake, whatever it is, what can you do instead? I want you to come up with an activity that can basically interrupt your cycle. Okay, so if at 9 o'clock at night, you go to reach for the cookies or the brownie or whatever it is, what is now going to be the 9 o'clock activity that you're going to incorporate? It could be calling your friend. In fact, maybe you tell your friend ahead of time, listen, at 9 o'clock every night, I need to hop on the phone and chat with you for 20 minutes. Okay, it might be you grab your husband and you go outside for an evening walk. Maybe you journal, maybe you read a book, maybe there's like a funny show on Netflix or something that you watch for 30 minutes. I don't know what it is, but I want you to come up with that activity so that you can interrupt this cycle, because you can't hope for the best. You can't just go through your day and think like, oh yeah, I know what happens every single night, but whatever, I'm just going to hope for the best tonight and I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm not going to eat that ice cream tonight. It does not work that way, as we have all experienced, okay? It doesn't work that way. So pick an activity so that it can interrupt your cycle, because you have a pattern. You have this pattern of wanting the thing, whatever it is, and then quickly giving into it. And you have this pattern that you go through all the time. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious, so I'm going to go eat ice cream at 9 o'clock. This is what I do. So interrupt the cycle. Pick an activity, and you must plan ahead and anticipate how you're going to feel. Get really honest with yourself, okay? So that's kind of one way. And it's not just necessarily to combat snacking at night. Maybe at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when you go and you grab the coffee or the donut or the cookie or whatever it is, or with your, team at work or whatever it might be, and your employees. Same thing. What's the pattern interrupt? Anticipate what's going to happen at 4 o'clock when you're with your employees and you guys go out and you grab your coffee or whatever it might be. Or like happy hour after work, right? That was a big thing when I was in like the corporate world. It was like, okay, our shift's done at, 5:30. Let's all go out and grab a drink. That was no longer my thing that I wanted to be a part of. So I just actually didn't go anymore. Right? Or I started to anticipate. I knew, okay, 6 o'clock, everybody wants to go have drinks. Like, I'm just going to have a soda water with some lime. Right? So you have to anticipate what's coming up and have a plan for yourself. Okay, the other thing that you can do is this technique that's called delayed gratification technique. And so, for example, say you want the cookies in the cupboard, okay? And again, say it's 9 o'clock at night and you want those cookies in the cupboard, they're there. Instead of getting up right away, okay, because this is your pattern, you want the cookies, you go and you grab them. Interrupt the cycle. So instead of grabbing them right away, take out your phone, set a timer for 5 minutes, and sit and be present. I know that you can do anything for 5 freaking minutes, okay? You can do that for 5 minutes. So set a timer for 5 minutes, and I want you to sit there with your uncomfortable feelings. This is not about, oh, woe is me, I'm a victim, look at me, I can't do anything right. That's not what I'm talking about. I want you to sit with the uncomfortableness. Maybe you journal and you write like, okay, here's what's showing up. It's 9 o'clock, I go and I reach for cookies. I'm just gonna sit here, I'm gonna wait it out, I'm gonna breathe through this. There's some uncomfortable feelings showing up, maybe in my stomach. I feel a little bit anxious, and it's okay. It is totally okay, all right? So I want you to sit there for those 5 minutes. Maybe you meditate, you just do some deep breathing. This isn't saying that you can't have the cookie. That's not what I'm saying. You can have the cookie. You're just waiting 5 minutes longer. Okay, that's all you're doing. So you're gonna sit there and you're gonna sit with your uncomfortable feelings. This is why so many diet programs fail, is because you're not willing to sit with your uncomfortable feelings. You just want quick gratification and you want to go grab what you want when you want and have it all the time. So instead, we got to interrupt that cycle, because there's these neural pathways in the head, in your brain, that remember what you do. You feel bad, you feel anxious, you feel exhausted, you feel irritable, you feel underappreciated. Oh, I go eat cookies. You got to interrupt the cycle. There are neural pathways going on in your brain that remember, that know what it is that you do. So in order to break that cycle, you got to do something different. So delayed gratification is just sitting there, set the timer for 5 minutes. It doesn't mean you can't have the cookie or the cake or whatever it might be, and sit there and breathe, feel those uncomfortable feelings. Your feelings are not going to kill you. You got to be present with them. And the more you can be present with them and do little things like this, where it's 5 minutes of interrupting or doing some kind of new activity, you are rewiring your brain. And it's amazing because the more you do this every day, 5 minutes, that's all it takes, you're creating new neural pathways. And at one point, you're going to hit this point where your body's like, oh, I actually don't need the cookie right now. I'm good. But it's going to take time for you to get there. And this is why it's a practice, okay? So you got to stop avoiding your feelings. You got to really feel them, journal about them. And again, to be clear, like this is not about victim mode and sitting there like, woe is me. It's just about like being present to what's showing up for you in that moment, okay? What else? And then after the 5 minutes, go grab the cookie. That's fine. Go have the cookie. It is okay. Sorry, I have like hair. There's like little piece of hair that's like keep scratching my nose. So go grab the cookie after the 5 minutes. It's totally okay. This is just about doing a pattern interrupt and creating new neural pathways, introducing a new activity that you haven't done before. And over time, this is what's going to start breaking your patterns and your cycle of going to eat the things that you know, like sometimes with my clients, they don't even want to eat them. They don't even want it. And I've had clients who are like literally sitting on the couch crying as they are eating their potato chips because they know this isn't what they even want for themselves. But they're doing it anyways because they're in this cycle that they're just having such a hard time to break through. So it's little strategies like this that really help, but you got to do it over and over and over again. This is why there's no quick fix to weight loss. If you are Googling trying to find some solution on Google, it's not going to happen. Or you go to some supplement store to find like whatever diet pill or product, like it doesn't work that way. Can supplements be helpful? 1000%. But that doesn't mean that they're a magic fix. They're a magic pill. And this is why you keep repeating a cycle and failing because you're not doing some of this deeper work that really needs to be addressed. Okay. Does anybody have questions? I see some people here, but no one is. Can someone say hi? No one's saying anything over here. Okay. So some other things that I really want to share is, there's oftentimes 3 things that I find that are missing when it comes to somebody wanting to lose weight. And hi, Lisa. Okay, awesome. Someone's here. This is great. Thanks for saying hi. So there's often 3 things that I find that are really missing. So like I mentioned earlier, if you're going on Dr. Google trying to find weight loss solutions and you're going on like hundreds of different websites and downloading like all this free junk, that's not going to get you to your weight loss goal, okay? So there's 3 things that are really key here. Number 1 is you need a plan to follow. If you're just like, I'm going to wing it and hope for the best, again, we know this does not work. You need a plan to follow. Something that basically gives you all the answers for you and, lays it all out for you so you don't have to second guess things. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels. You need a plan to follow. Okay. So a plan is key. A support network. This is very important. I also have so many women that I coach who, they feel ashamed. They feel ashamed of their bodies and their health and how they've gotten so out of control. And so they don't want to let their friends and their family know that they're on another weight loss program. And so they keep it inside and they're just doing it on their own. No, you need a support network. There are incredible studies showing how when we have accountability and a support network, that we achieve our goals that much faster. So you need to have a plan, you need accountability, and you need to have a support network. This is why I can't just tell you, go do this one thing and then that's it, it's going to solve all your problems. It doesn't work that way. There is a real system. There's a system in place that we have in our Metabolic Reset coaching program. And you have the support network. And you have an incredible community. And then there's our one-to-one coaching, right? Where you're either working with myself or you're working with Coach Valerie. And we guide you through your plan. We guide you through the accountability and our check-in calls and answering your questions, right? Whether it's one-on-one or group coaching, you have the plan, the support network, and the accountability. And this is why those who enroll in these programs have much more success than going at it on their own, okay? So these are really important things, and they're often missing when it comes to a weight loss program. And, you know, sometimes it just comes down to women saying like, but I can't invest, or I don't have time, or it's gonna be hard. You know what's really hard every day is waking up and feeling exhausted, hating your body, not wanting to look at yourself in the mirror, avoiding yourself in the mirror, not wanting to go out and be at social events, hiding yourself in clothes, being in pain and being inflamed and having hormonal issues or losing your hair or being on medication. That is hard. That is hard to do every single day, and it's no way to live, okay? So you have to, if weight loss is something you really want for yourself, you have to make a commitment. You have to be committed to it. And here's the thing. If you keep going on diet after diet after diet, and you know, failing, it's maybe because it's just not a commitment for you right now. And here's the thing, that's okay. If it's not a commitment, take yourself off the hook, stop doing all of the programs, stop doing all of the diets, and just stop with all of it. Just go and just be you and eat what you want and do your thing and stop consuming yourself with all of the diet stuff because it's not a commitment, and that is okay. And then maybe what might happen is you're going to hit your rock bottom, and then it's going to become a commitment. Unfortunately, I don't want you to hit your rock bottom, but unfortunately, that's what happens, right? That is typically what happens. 10, 15, 20, 30 years go by, and you've let things get way out of control, and now you're like, what the fuck? I got to really do something about this now because this is not what I want for my life, okay? So a few other things that I really want to share in terms of kind of like rewiring your brain, because a lot of this it goes beyond the food. You know, a lot of this isn't just about the food that's on your plate. A lot of what's involved with weight loss, like I said, the plan, the support, the accountability, yes, that's important, but it's also about like these neural pathways. You've trained yourself to go grab the cookies whenever you want. You've trained yourself and been telling yourself for years that you're not worthy, you're not going to lose weight, this is what your life is going to be like. You have trained yourself to think this way. And so you got to rewire your brain. And so doing some of those techniques that I shared will really help you with that. And also, your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is merely imagination, like what you're imagining. Okay, so this is why, like, if you go to watch a scary, like, thriller or movie, a scary movie in the theaters, you get scared, but even though you're safe in your seat, right? Like, your brain doesn't know between what's real and what is merely you're imagining. And so if that's the case, what do you want to imagine for yourself? I want you to create a clear and compelling vision for your future health. What does your future self look like? And here is why, for me, changing my dietary habits, and like, it's just so second nature to me, right? Like gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, eating healthy foods, moving my body, taking care of myself, stress management, getting coaching support, going to therapy, having osteopaths, having natural, like, no questions asked. This is what I do in my life. I don't complain about price. I don't complain about time and commitment. Never. That's it. Because it's taken me years to get to this point, but I also got very clear about that vision I wanted for myself in the future, right? And to be quite honest, with my parents and my family and even my extended family and being around them, listen, I love my family deeply and my parents are incredible and I love them so much, but also I got to be a witness to their health, right? I'm a witness to how they show up for themselves. They don't prioritize themselves. They're overweight. They're on medication. They're in pain. They're inflamed. They hate their bodies. My mother does not ever want to go to the beach. God forbid she goes and like buys new clothes, like nothing, right? Is like not agile, like doesn't move very well, is very slow, has a hard time going up the stairs. I don't want that for myself. I do not want that for myself. So I was a witness, and I see it with my extended family too. They don't take care of themselves. They eat very poorly and they're on medication, and they just think that that's just how it is, right? And witnessing this allowed me to create a vision for myself of the things that I don't want for the future, right? In the future, I don't want to be like my parents and my family. I don't want to feel that way. It doesn't have to be that way for myself. So I got really clear and crafted this like very clear vision for myself, for my life, for my future, for my partner, all of that. And I wrote it down and I journaled about it. And then I created like a visualization practice around it, and visualizing what my life would look like, what I would feel like, what my business would look like, you know, how I'm going to show up in the world, and how my partner's going to show up in the world, how we're going to show up together, where we're going to live, our house. Like I really envisioned all of it, and I would sit and like do a visualization practice every day as I would journal. And again, this only needs to take 5 minutes of your day. And so when you do these things, when you create a compelling vision for your future self, and when you create a visualization practice that you can do every day, visualizing how you're going to feel, how you're going to look, achieving that weight loss goal, all of these things, when you can visualize all of this, what happens is you start to be more pulled towards the healthier options. You start making better choices for yourself, because now those choices are in alignment with what you want for your future, right? So for example, might seem like a really small thing, but back in my 20s, my self-worth was so based on my clothes and my appearance and how I looked. And in my 30s now, I don't even think about clothes. Guys, I wear the same shit all the time. You probably see me wearing the same stuff all the time on like my Insta stories and videos and stuff like that. Like I do not invest in a lot of clothing, and in fact I have given away bags and bags and bags of designer clothing and shoes and all of it to Value Village, because I just don't need it, and that's not what my self-worth is based on. And spending that money on clothes, my God, I think back to like all my bartending days. I used to bartend and I would make incredible tips Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And I would make literally sometimes, you know, $1,000, $1,200. This is how I paid for my university. But every weekend I'd go to the mall and buy new clothes so I could wear nice fancy clothes to the bar and look, you know, nice and cute every weekend. And the amount of money I've spent on clothes is like, it makes me sick to think that. But, you know, it is what it is. When you know better, you do better. And so now in my 30s, I'm like, there's no way I want to go buy those clothes when I could take that money and invest it in my business and put it towards going on an amazing trip with my partner, or investing in a coach, investing in a therapist. Like these are things I do for myself because I want to better myself. If you have money lying around, what you do with that money, you don't go buy clothes, you don't go buy fancy things and cars and stuff like that. You invest it in yourself. You better yourself. Because when you can better yourself and show up more powerfully in your life, you will make better choices that are in alignment with the life that you truly want. And so if you want to be more in control of your food and your eating, if you want to be more in control when you are in social situations and don't want to indulge like everybody else is, if you want to stop drinking, if you want to stop giving up that sugar, not only can you incorporate those strategies that I was just sharing earlier, but again, crafting that clear vision, think about what you want your future self to look like and feel like and be like. What does she have? how does she dress? How does she feel? What does she look like? All of those things, and really visualize it. Do it every day. And over time, when you consistently do this practice, you will make better choices that are in alignment with what you truly want for your life. Okay? So, that was just so much stuff that I just kind of like vomited out on you guys. Do you have any questions? Please share with me. Some other things that I want to share too is, like simple sort of actionable steps that you can do like kind of right now when it comes to weight loss that you might not even think relates to weight loss, but it really does, is your environment, right? Like look at the environment around you. Is it messy and cluttered? If that's the case, you gotta clean that up. You have to clean that up. You have to create the space for something new to come into your life. So declutter, clean it all up. You want to be in a space where you feel calm and you feel confident and you love your space. And that's really, really important, okay? Another thing is like stress management. If you've got a lot of stress and chronic stress going on in your life, you have to find outlets for dealing with it. It might mean getting coaching support. It might mean therapy. It might mean just having a network of friends and girlfriends that you can talk to. Maybe you have like a Friday night chat where you just kind of let it out and vent and whatnot. Like you have to find that thing that's going to help you manage and deal with your stress. Getting manicures and pedicures is not how we do that. Okay, you have to set really clear, healthy boundaries for yourself and self-care, and that doesn't just include like going for a manicure or pedicure once every like 4 or 6 weeks. It doesn't work like that. It's how do you manage stress every day? What are the things you do in your life every single day for your self-care? Okay, that's important. Some other things that I find some women are doing when it comes to weight loss, that they're kind of like self-sabotaging themselves, is like they're skipping meals or they're under eating. Now, skipping meals, to be clear, I'm not talking about like intermittent fasting or something like that. Okay, that's a whole different topic. In fact, that's something that we do focus on in the metabolic reset. And we share with you guys an amazing protocol for how you can do intermittent fasting, especially how you do it for women and how you do it for like if you have low thyroid function and things like that, or adrenal issues. And we really show you how to do intermittent fasting because it can be a wonderful tool for supporting your hormones and of course your weight loss goal. But you want to make sure you're doing it in the right way. Okay. So that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about like really specifically under eating and skipping meals because you think eating less is going to be the answer to achieving your weight loss goals, right? And that's not always the case. It's not just necessarily about eating less and moving more. It's actually about the quality and the quality of the food that you're actually choosing to eat, and how much of that quality food are you eating in a day? Like your proteins and your fats and your fibers and your veggies and all of that, right? How much are you actually getting that in? So in our metabolic reset program and even in our one-on-one coaching metabolic program, that's oftentimes one of the things that I hear a lot is like, do I have to eat all this food? Yes, you have to eat all this food. And we're not overeating, we're just eating the right amount for your body. This is what's gonna help your hormones, this is what's gonna balance out your blood sugar, it's gonna fuel your brain, and you're gonna start feeling so good, and that weight is also gonna start coming off as well. Okay, so hi Eladay, thanks so much for being here. Okay, ladies, do you have any questions? There was lots there that I shared in regards to, some strategies that you can incorporate. And as you heard, these strategies, it's not just about what you're eating. It's about all these other things that you're doing in your life. It's these habits that you've created for yourself. It's this thinking, this negative thinking that's going on in your brain. It's these things that need to be addressed and are really part of achieving weight loss and just optimal health. So I really want you to spend some time, maybe rewatch this, and I really want you to start incorporating some of those strategies that I shared. And, listen, there were so many of you here that said the topic you wanted me to speak about is weight loss. And that's what we do here. That's what we do at Holistic Wellness. We are weight loss experts. We have our one-on-one coaching program and we have our group coaching program. So there's no shortage of getting the support and getting the help that you really, really need, okay? It is here for you. You have to show up for yourself. You have to take action. You have to make yourself a priority. You have to invest in yourself. Sometimes that can be really scary, but nothing changes if nothing changes, okay? You have to move forward and do sometimes the really uncomfortable things, putting the credit card down or hiring the trainer or whatever it might be, you have to do those things. It's really important because these are the big catalysts that move the needle. So we're here for you guys. If you ever have questions, you know you can post them in the group. We would love to help support you. Our Metabolic Reset program is currently open for registration. And ladies, the price is going up in just a few more days. I believe on Friday, okay? So save some money. We offer a split payment. Make it work. Come join us. It's a fabulous program. You are not going to feel deprived. You are also going to have support like this in the group where you can ask questions, and we're going to help you navigate the program. We're going to help answer your questions, and you're going to get some amazing coaching support from both Valerie and myself. My other coach, Valerie, she's wonderful, and she really helps to support you guys in the group. We share so many amazing recipes. You can still eat chocolate, okay? Like I said, this isn't about deprivation. This is about eating delicious, real whole foods, going on an anti-inflammatory approach, and just supporting your body in the best way possible. And I know for myself, food and nutrition was that big catalyst for me really showing up in a much more powerful way. For me, really kind of like taking charge of my life. It started with nutrition. That's what it started with for me. It started with me understanding my body, understanding my hormones, understanding about food and what's good for me and what's not for me, and just really educating and learning myself for myself. And as I started to incorporate better whole foods and eat better, and as I felt better, then I was able to just like take on so many more things. I felt so empowered, and that is what allowed me to, go on in my life and create my business and share this message with the world and do things like that. So you can't do the things you want in your life if you don't have your health, right? So it really does start with your health. It's so foundational. So thanks everybody for being here today, for listening. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. And if you have questions, please post them below. We're here to support you guys, and we'd love to see you inside our Metabolic Reset program. We officially kick off our group coaching on September 17th, so you still have time to join, but our price is going up this Friday. I'm going to put the link here if I can. 1 second. I'll put the link here. I'm doing this on my phone because, as you guys know, I was trying to do live videos from my computer and it just kept crashing on me. And so I've had the most success with just doing these live videos from my phone. All right, guys, so holisticwellness.ca/metabolic reset. I'm going to put the link there if you want to come join us. And that's it, guys. Thanks so much for being with me today. I hope you are going to go rewire your brain and those neural pathways and really take charge of your health and your hormones and your life. And we're here for you. Thanks so much for being with us today, okay? And thanks, Lisa. Yes, the podcast episode with Dr. Eric, it was so good. He's so fabulous, and it was such a fun episode and so great to interview him. And thanks for tuning into that, all right? Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I'll chat with you guys all really soon. Take care.